Hello, and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing great. How'd the stream go?
The beginning was rough. It ended good, though. It ended good.
That's good.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. Get to talk with you. I'm really excited.
Me too.
Yeah, but
Hello, I'm just not. I realized I hadn't said anything yet. I'm all sitting here lurking. Hi, I'm the other
Hi.
host, co-host. I don't even know what we're called. We're so good at podcasts, or I am. Anyway,
That's okay.
Hello.
I'm terrible at them as well.
perfect.
yeah, but so you were playing. I was watching for a little while on the stream, and I saw you were playing with Knight for a little bit, or just like I guess you queued into Knight.
KNIGHT, yeah.
Yeah, he. So I'm a college coach, and he's on one of the teams that my team plays against.
Oh, okay.
Also,
Who do you guys coach? Or who do you coach?
Lawrence Tech it's in Michigan.
Okay, Lawrence Tech.
We've played against Oakland University and Jay Wismont a few times too.
Did you guys play in the Level Next title at all? The tournament?
Yeah, tried to. Did not do very well, but yeah.
Didn't do well? Okay. So that's pretty much my college experience in Rocket League is only through them.
Okay.
And I remember Jay Wiz's team being in there and the other team you mentioned, but I didn't remember you guys.
Yeah, no, we went out like super early, like basically as early as you could go out.
I mean, there were so many teams though.
Yeah, true.
Like, if you're not dumping money and resources into Rocket League, it's hard to compete with some of the schools right now. I mean, they literally just poach pro players. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. Northwood.
Yeah, Northwood. Fisher College, I think, is one now.
Yep.
Their team is like all pros. It's like Kinsey, Lion Blaze, and somebody else. It's just like, okay. Stack pros on your team, I guess. I'm just surprised that the colleges allow that stuff.
Yeah, I don't. It's like Knox's, Hawks. Like it's crazy. Like I don't. It's crazy that they. I don't want to say are allowed to do that, but it's crazy that the rules have allowed them to do that.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean yeah. Rules in Rocket League are not
exactly.
looking too good right now.
No yeah, rules are meant to be broken. Is what it's looking like.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but I figure we can start this by if you wanted to do like a quick intro to kind of explain for people who don't know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
And then I got some questions for you.
All right, sounds good. I'm ready whenever you guys are. I don't know if there's like a official start or anything like that.
Oh no, just go ahead whenever. I have just am recording, so I'll be able to like edit stuff out.
All right, hi everybody. My name's Karma, also known as Jamie, and I've been semi-pro/professional Rocket League player for the past 5 years, since a little bit after the game came out. And I've made my team at one point was considered top 4, top 5. We made RLCS in season 7 back in the league play format. We came up through RLRS, and then I've been streaming recently a bunch on Twitch because I took a break from Rocket League after I got kicked from my team in 2020. I kind of stopped playing the game as much as I do out of frustration with ongoings behind the scenes, my professional career and stuff. But at the turn of the new year, I have come back to Rocket League and expressed wanting to play a lot more hours. I've been streaming a lot more, and I've been trying to teach everybody how to get better because I stink right now compared to how I was, and I need to learn how to get better again. And my whole idea is to really try and teach while I'm learning myself.
That's awesome. I mean, it's a general term, right? And like all Rocket League players are the same, right? Whether you're like Champ 1 or SSL, everybody thinks that they're garbage at the game, but like
Exactly.
your garbage is a lot different than our garbage, so
Yeah,
I
I mean,
also really enjoy. Oh, sorry.
no,
I'm
continue.
really enjoying that it happens even at the top level. It's like, you know what? I hate this game. I'm never playing it again. And the next thing you know, you're playing it again.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist and it's very bad. So with Rocket League, with this, the way that the game works, it's just you're never going to be satisfied if you have my attitude. So it's kind of a bad and a good thing, really.
fair. But I guess the first question I have for you is, so I mean, I've been a fan for a while. I kind of started watching really when you were playing for Splice, when you guys came through RLRS, but I know from watching those streams that you actually went pro in Hearthstone before you went pro in Rocket League.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
kind of.
fair. But so I guess my question is, how did you get involved in esports in general, and then I'll be more specifically into Rocket League.
Okay, it's kind of a long-winded answer, so, but it's kind of amusing. So I basically was an athlete growing up, a very high-ranked athlete in basketball. I had played a bunch of sports growing up as well. Like I was really into sports and athletics, and my dad was my coach. And I was born with a pre-existing condition that has plagued me, unfortunately, my whole life. It's chronic. But while I was a kid, I was able to kind of deal with the pain. I'm not really sure how, but I just kind of used basketball to distract myself from things I was going through, because I grew up in a hospital for the most part. Once I was like 7 or 8 or 9, I ended up being able to be home a lot and have more of a normal childhood. But prior to that, I was pretty much in a hospital majority of my life. So once that basketball thing came, we were really successful. We traveled around the country playing in tournaments and nationals, and I had toured Yukon. I was, I don't know if I was going to go there. I was only 12 when we were being toured, but it was a big deal. And I ended up getting told by my doctors freshman year that I wasn't allowed to play basketball anymore because they were afraid I was going to break my spine or a hip or something that a child shouldn't injure, pretty much. You should never have to worry about that stuff. And it was something that was a real issue for me. So I spiraled into this depression, I guess, for lack of a better word. I was young. I don't really know. I ended up dropping out of high school. And because I was sick as well at the time, it wasn't just because I was sad, but I was also sick with stuff at the time. And when I was at high school, I would do classes in my free time or online. And one of my friends, because he realized how upset he was, he bought me a computer. And at the time, PCs back then, we're talking 2009, 2010. PC gaming back then is not what it was now, and computers were way more expensive. It was a huge gesture.
Right.
And he bought me Call of Duty. That's where I basically started replacing basketball with Call of Duty, and that form of escapism and I don't know what the exact phrase is other than my escape. It took over to video games, and that's kind of how I got into video games. But you guys have to realize that in 2010, 9, 11, when I was playing, there was no esports. It was LANs in sweaty closets in Florida is what I was being invited to by these dudes who were way older than me. I was 15 at the time, and my parents were not about it, nothing. So COD didn't really go well because I was too young and my parents didn't really understand what the heck was going on. So then I got into Hearthstone because it was just a game that came out that my friend and I liked. So we ended up playing together. And I entered this tournament for fun called the Last Chance Qualifier, which is a qualifier for BlizzCon. And I ended up running the whole tournament, and they were streaming my point of view the entire time. And one thing I did on my stream was anytime you get lethal in the game, which is like you eliminate your opponent, I would put on sunglasses and like BM. And BM is basically like
Yep.
bad manners.
Yep.
But it wasn't like really bad manners. I was kind of just like trolling. It was like, you know, I would play every card and then kill you. Like it was like, I was kind of a troll, and Reddit loved it. So my stream started popping off on Reddit. And then it took off on Twitch because Hearthstone at the time was this huge game. And Hearthstone for me really started esports because they introduced me to tournaments and like live events in front of a crowd and all these things that I hadn't really experienced before, even though I heard about it. And although I didn't get to experience it, Blizzard invited me to the events and I got to be there in person, even though I wasn't participating. But I ended up leaving Hearthstone because of some... I don't like Blizzard, to be honest. Sorry, Blizzard. I'm just not a fan of the company. That was before all the stuff came out, though. This was like 2014 when I left. I didn't like the Blizzard's design philosophy and how they handled their games. I feel like they do a lot of pump and dump stuff, which I don't like. So I ended up finding Rocket League, and I've kind of just been here since, just figuring out my path, I guess.
Fair.
Sorry for the long-winded answer, but I did warn you all.
No, yeah.
I did warn you all.
That's awesome. And we've been fortunate enough where, you know, we're both a little bit older as well, and compared to like most people in the scene, and we've been able to get some really cool interviews with like Coach LBP from Was of Renegades, now James Cheese, and Stax.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah.
It kind of seems like a lot of people have kind of come from the traditional sports to esports path. I think either chasing kind of the competitive nature that you get from regular sports, or, you know, the team atmosphere. Do you think that you playing conventional sports kind of like it was like an appeal for you in joining esports? Not necessarily so much Hearthstone, but like for Rocket League.
Definitely it gave me something to hone a craft in. Like it gave me like something to do. When I was, you know, I was just in this mode where I was so sad that almost my entire dream got taken away from me from something I couldn't control. So I was like, there's really nothing you can do to deal with that, at least for me. Like you can't control what happened. Like it literally, like there was literally nothing I could have done since I've been alive that would have prevented, you know, the circumstance from getting there. So in that sense, I felt hopeless, and video games gave me like a way to just kind of deal with being annoyed. Like I just go clap some kids in Call of Duty, try and drop like 100 kills or get a helicopter or something and just like mow everyone over. And it was kind of therapeutic, and I was just like, you know, I want to keep doing this. And then I don't know when or how my competitive side got triggered, but somewhere in there I just got obsessed with winning and like getting a high kill death ratio and like all the little stats on the call sign that, like, anything that tried to show people that you were like insane at the game, I just tried to do, because it was you know, I'm kind of a performer at heart, a little bit. Like, you know, basketball was my stage, and then it got taken away, and now I kind of use video games, or I try to use video games as a stage, like to show off and show the talent and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm kind of fascinated by this transfer because, you know, as Kyle mentioned, that we've talked to a few different people that have come from really competitive areas and moved into esports, and yourself, you've done the same. And I know that when I hear people talk about like elite athletes and people that really perform, it's like, well, they're predestined, you know, their family they're stronger, whatnot, you know. But I don't think that can't be the case if you can then transfer over to an esport. Would you say it's something more with mental and understanding how to train at something that gets you where you are, being able to do both? Well, being able to transfer, I should say.
Yeah, I think it's kind of to me comes down to like a philosophical question in a way. It's like do you believe in talent or hard work? And I don't know, like I think humans, I guess, is like a species term, but like I feel like if you put time into something, anybody, and you really focus on what makes you better, what and you seek help and other people who are like-minded, I feel like you can improve, at any task. Now, getting to the top 0.001% being the best, that's a different story. But like I think the general improvement or like want to get good at video games really comes down to just like how, I guess, efficient people are with their time or how much time they have available to put into something. Did I answer your question?
You did. And
Okay.
actually, I have a little bit of a follow-up question, if you don't
Okay.
mind, which is when you say efficient with your time, you're meaning something like when you sit down for free play and you have 20 minutes, you're going to work on a specific thing, not like I pumped 8 hours into free play because I had 8 hours, right?
Right. Well, so for me, I do realize that when people are listening, I am a bit of a special case. Like the reason I'm able to or was able to pursue what I'm doing is because I had my medical condition, right? So, I mean, it isn't the only reason because, there are lots of kids now who play pro, so it's a little bit different nowadays, but I just felt like, an average person, a healthy average person my age is going to have a lot tougher time being able to find the time to put into the game, not only as I do, but even someone, high ranked, I would say. So I think it's like, it's very difficult to, that time phrase to throw around because you do want to be efficient with the amount of time you have, but if you have a ton of time, like there's no reason for you not to be able to say, I have a lot of time available here the next, I don't know, whatever. I want to get good at this, right? And then, if you efficiently, you don't want to overdo it. Like I'm against the 8 hours in free play thing, straight. I think that breaks in between are really good, and getting up and stretching and working out. Like I think there are a lot of other factors to being a very good professional other than just, spamming the game like a lot of people like to say in this community.
Thank you. I like that answer. That was great. Thank you.
Problem.
So, I guess back kind of in the beginning, if you kind of remember what was it that drew you into Rocket League?
I couldn't tell you. So I was really frustrated with Hearthstone, and I was at the same point, kind of. I'm sure you guys heard it in my voice, like how frustrated I was with Blizzard at the time, and I still am frustrated with them because of that scenario. So I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Situation, yeah, the whole like Blizzard stuff.
Just the way they handle their games. I don't know. I feel like they're very. I use the phrase pump and dump, which is like they create really, really great games, but then they don't update it properly and they kind of let it die, but they don't care because they already got a ton of money from it, right? So it's like they did that with HOTS, Heroes of the Storm. It's a game I loved. They did it with Hearthstone, another Blizzard game I loved.
Diablo Immortal.
Yep, it ended up becoming a trend years after. But with Hearthstone, when I saw it, that to me that was just like the first instance. And I just didn't want to be around because I didn't like the direction Hearthstone was going, the esport and all that stuff.
Fair.
And I ended up, I think, making a good decision.
I would say so as well.
I'd say Rocket League is way, way better. Especially, well, not the community's older in Hearthstone, but they were a lot more sexist. I don't like throwing that word around, but it was a lot more misogyny in the Hearthstone scene than there is here.
That's good.
Good in terms of like for the Rocket League community?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That might be one of the first times I've heard a good thing about the Rocket League community.
Really? I think there are a lot of good things about the Rocket League community. You guys don't think so?
I mean, all the what a saves get under my skin real fast.
Oh.
I'm easily tilted. It's bad. It's real bad. My mental game's the worst. But
no,
yeah.
I feel that. I mean, you saw the stream today. I was probably raging for like 2 hours straight on there.
It does happen.
It's just the type of game it is. You can cause your team to lose easily with one mistake, and play perfect the whole rest of the game. And you can also play the game the whole perfect and you'll still lose. Like, it's just, you have teammates usually, and it's just one of those games.
And it's a brutal game to be a perfectionist in because you can chase personal perfection, forever and still lose
Pretty
games
much.
because it's not fully on you.
Exactly.
And
Something
Unless
I
you're
had to
playing
come to grips
ones.
with. Yeah, ones too, but even then it's... Kickoffs is a huge thing of ones. If you want to argue that's a big skill thing, then you can do that.
No, it takes skill, but like also at the same time,
Yeah,
Not-
it's like it's a... I think you could argue either way, right?
yeah.
Because, like, I think it is a skill thing, no doubt, but at the same time, there's an element of BS to it. Like, it
For
pings
sure.
around the cars at a level that humans can't even see and then flies off in a direction. You just have to react to it.
Yeah, true.
I
So
think that's why you can argue either way, because it's a bit. I mean, there's definitely skill, but there is definitely some bit of randomization and luck built into it.
Yeah, and that was the big thing for me for Hearthstone. I hated losing. RNG was like my worst word. I hated losing to RNG. And in Hearthstone, you do.
yeah,
You just lose to percentages. Like, you'll make the right play, and the guy will top deck something, and you just lose. And it's like, that's more frustrating than Rocket League, believe it or not. But at least for me, it was. At least in Rocket League, at least in the beginning, Rocket League was like, okay, I messed up. That's why I lost. It's changed now, but in the beginning,
yeah.
it used to be like that.
I mean, I feel like at least in Rocket League, as compared to Hearthstone, like there's, at least for me, there always is something like you feel like you could try to do. Like, oh, if I would have just done this better, then maybe we would have won. But like definitely card luck and RNG play a huge factor in Hearthstone, and it's like, well, there's nothing I could have done differently. I just got beaten by the game.
Yeah, it feels like poker a lot of the time. Like,
Fair.
where the dealer just flops a king and you're just screwed. It's like, okay. And I didn't like that part of it. It was too frustrating.
That's fair. But kind of similarly, I guess, to that, what did your, I don't know if rise is the right word, but like your path to, playing in the RLCS look like from when you picked up the game? Did you know kind of pretty early on that you were going to try to play competitively, or is it something that just kind of came along as you played more?
No, so my dream of playing at a LAN event for a game never seemed like it was actually a reality. Like, I never thought that it would actually happen. I kind of was just playing Rocket League because I enjoyed it, and at the time I was streaming. So it was great for me because I needed to stream, and I didn't want to stream Hearthstone, so I just started streaming Rocket League sometimes, which is cool. I mean, it was rough because I used to get, I peaked at 20,000 viewers in Hearthstone. That wasn't a normal number for me. But I used to get thousands of viewers in Hearthstone usually, and I would switch to Rocket League and get like 200. So for like months, I had to deal with, wondering if I was being completely moronic. But like, I genuinely didn't enjoy Hearthstone anymore. And I felt like, the game was going in a direction that was rough. So the switch for me, at least from that side, came pretty natural. From the competitive angle, it was really frustrating. I wanted to come over when RLCS was announced, which was like a year after the game, and I wanted to fully commit to it. But when I went to go try and play, I tried out for a team called Xylophone Zebras. That was the first team I was on. It was me, Subin, and Ping Pong Pete, which if you're an OG in the game, you'll know those names. We ended up losing to Rizzo's team, which was Take 3, I think, in the qualifiers of to make the 8th spot. So it was Rizzo, Low 5, and Insolences. We lost to them in the last spot for the first RLCS. And that pretty much happened to me for like 5 years. I pretty much made it to the spot where you have to win that match to qualify, and I couldn't win. And I would try and switch teams and work my way up to teams that were quote unquote better, because we were always the team that just missed. But I never got any opportunities. I used to like stay up at night getting really upset, wondering why I wasn't getting any opportunities and stuff like that. So just kept chugging, kept coming along, and then all of a sudden I made it to an NBC tournament. And I had played with Pluto, who, I love you, Pluto, but a lot of people at the time when Pluto and I were playing in this tournament thought Pluto was like gonna retire. He had like a few poor performance seasons, but I thought that he could bring it back, so we teamed for NBC. We ended up making the finals of this LAN in California, and we were on TV on like NBC and stuff. And then Splice reached out to me, which was a big org at the time, a tier 1 org,
Yeah, for sure.
to sign me just as a content creator. So I was pissed. I was like, really? You're only going to sign me as a content creator? You're not going to sign me as a competitor? And then once I showed them NBC, and then, you know, I performed well at NBC, they were like, all right, we'll sign you to like $1,000 a month, pick 2 players, and you know, we'll pay them too. So I ended up finding Nose Dude and Jaywiz, and then that formed the famous Splice roster. And we did really well, and then Splice ended up selling to Mad Lions, which was a major sad moment for me, because Splice was like my home. They were like the first org that believed in me, and all my connections were basically through there, and it just got all blown up. So everyone I knew, all my contacts, all gone. And then we started over on Charlotte Phoenix, and did well, not good enough. I would say we constantly underperformed, and then there were just so many things going on behind the scenes there. But that was pretty much how the competitive for me started, is just a ton of frustration and BS. And then we got some success going there. And then more frustration.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I know, so I kind of, like I said, I kind of started watching Rocket League when the old format was, you know, the RLRS, RLCS, and I know that you've played in both.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the biggest difference in the two of those being just like the level of competition?
No, I thought that the RLRS was harder to play in than RLCS, because the play styles are way more difficult. You get like a different version of play styles, although harder is the wrong word. I would say more difficult to play is the RLRS. Like in RLCS, we would lose. They would all be close, and we would know why we lost. Like, we would get outplayed. In RLRS, it's like chaos. It's almost like you have to thrive in chaos, and I know that it sounds easier than playing at the top level, but for me in particular, and I think my teammates as well, it just isn't. And I felt like RLRS was used as a way by the pros to bottleneck and just keep each other all pros at the time. So it was... yeah, I felt like RLRS was a great thing, is a great thing if they were to bring it back, because the bubble scene right now is struggling, but there were a lot of issues with it as well. The fact that you only play 7 games. Like, I don't know if you guys know that as a professional, when I made RLCS, I played 7 series. After trying to get there for 5 years, I played 7 best of 5s and then got kicked. Like...
Yeah.
Like, the players now that are pro play 7 best of 5s in a day. Like, the amount of opportunity that the pros now got compared to players when the league play was up, or at least players like me who got to get in there and have a chance and, you know, not really get much help from anywhere else, is it's shocking to look back on, really.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, like, the league play was like, you know, what, 1 match a week for everybody. They played the full slate. Everyone
1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, depending on the week. But I mean, it was kind of a brutal format, because it's, I don't know, like, I like watching tournaments like for Rocket League, as most esports have, right? You can peak for a weekend, but like, you're not gonna peak for 2 months once a week. It just doesn't happen.
Exactly. That's like, that's part of why I like this format a lot more, because it promotes consistency instead of pop off, which is really good. And I commend Sonics for that. But I don't know, there's something about the league play where the games mattered so much and the nerves were so high, and as a player it sucked. Like, it was so stressful, but as a fan and someone who was a fan when I wasn't playing, it was the best, I think.
I mean, there's always something to root for, like, no matter where you are during the season.
Like those G2 NRG matchups when it was their week to play. I mean, come on. Everyone looked forward to those, and they were last too. So you waited the entire day. Everyone was watching the big matchup. Like, I don't know. There's something similar to the NFL about it, and I like the way NFL does their games. There's not a lot of them, like compared to
like a baseball or a hockey. I
baseball.
Get what you're saying.
Baseball drives me insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Hockey's bad, but not as bad, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But so I mean that kind of segues into my next question. Then, do you prefer the old format or the new format?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Because I mean, I'm sure that there's pros and negatives of both, or pros and cons of both of them.
Yeah, I think as a player, it's a lot more stable right now. Like, my teams were perennially 8th and 9th place. Right now, if my team was 8th and 9th place, we would be chilling. But when I was playing, it was a disaster. It was a lot of like the bubble scene is right now, where there's nothing to do. You have to sit there and wait, and everyone gets paid and not you. And it's just like there's no clear path to get yourself forward. It's a lot of guessing. And, you know, as a chick, I don't like to bring up the fact that I'm a chick a lot, but, you know, it's not easy trying to bond and play with 16-year-old kids and convince them you're better to be on the team than their 18-year-old best friend that they're with all day in Discord. Like, it's just difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask also about the kind of the changing team process. I mean, especially after like this roster window or transfer window or whatever they're calling it now. It seemed like everything kind of happens right at the deadline. Everything kind of seems to happen so quick. There's not a lot of, I don't know if protections for players is the right word, but like it just seems
zero.
Like, so chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that things need to be like changed? Do you what was your experience like having to change rosters?
So I am a very unique player in that I didn't really change rosters much. Players changed around me, but I didn't really move. And I would love to have like a group of pros together at some point that were around at the time I was around, and genuinely ask them, because I thought that I wouldn't really get any opportunities. I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't think anyone would want to play with a girl. I didn't really understand why, because I thought that I was more talented than some of the pros that were playing right now and on teams. So I was kind of confused in that regard, and I thought for sure that I deserved an opportunity. And I thought it was absolute crap, but at the same time, I also kind of understand. You know, like, and I didn't think of it at the time because I was so obsessed with just like becoming the best. But like, I was a 25, 24-year-old girl trying to interact with, 16, 17-year-olds. It's very, I don't know. It's not like talking to someone my age, but at the same time, you don't want to treat them like a child. Because if you treat them like a kid, you know, you're not going to get anywhere that way either. And they're not a kid. They're just, you know, I treat them like I would treat, you know, my guy friends. And I've always got along with guys since I was a young girl. I played on a boys baseball team. I grew up with my dad as my coach. So this idea of playing on a male team for me was not new, not scary. I don't care. But the interesting part was like, do they care? Does it bother them? And other than Redals and Gyro, I never got a tryout for an RLCS team other than ones I made myself.
You tried out with Reddles and Gyro for peeps?
I did. I played DreamHack Valencia with them.
You're right. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, we beat CJ's team, and then we played against Itachi, Extra, and Mout, I think, and we lost. And it was bad. It was just bad. It wasn't Reddles and Gyro were new. Like, new from RLRS, and they had this new play style, and I was a veteran, and I was like, who are these new kids? Trying to tell me how to play, change my play style, you know?
Yeah.
So we would try and change the play style, and it just ended up not working. We ended up butting heads because as much as, you know, I love Reddles, like, he and I are both kind of, leaders, I guess? Or, like, we like to try and do what we think is best. So we would butt heads quite a bit, but even at the same time, like, you know, we're still good friends today. It didn't affect anything, but you know, I never got a tryout with another team, and I asked multiple teams, multiple times, different off seasons, different splits, all when I had like stats to back me up, and I just got a hard no every time.
That's wild. That part I didn't know. I do remember you playing in Valencia because I think that ended up being the AS, like, part of the AS Monaco roster with Extra and Itachi.
Yeah, they ended up being two of the best players ever. Yeah.
Well, but like people.
But at the time, they were literally no one knew them.
Yeah,
it was weird.
People forget. I mean, like, less than 2 years before Extra won a world championship with BDS, he went 0-8 on Monaco. Like, the only team in RLCS history to ever go 0-8.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, like, literally the worst team of all time to the best team of all time in less than 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think Extra is always an underrated player as well. But, you know, he knows who to surround himself by. He got with Monkey Man. I mean, Monkey Man.
Jesus.
So I give Extra a tiny bit of credit there, but at the same time, not really. Because I was telling... So Mystic at the time, I don't know if you guys know him. He is a European player. He had been kicked from his team after winning, what was that LAN in Las Vegas?
Oh, it wasn't a DreamHack.
WSOE.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, go team with Monkey Man. The kid's insane. I played him in ones. I used to play ones all the time, and I would queue Europe. I would play against him all the time, and I told and we would talk about it, and I was like, dude, he's French. Go play with Monkey Moon. He's gonna be the next best player. And I think they were deciding between Extra and Mystic, and then they ended up picking Extra. I don't know about that for sure. And it was Extra, Monkey Moon. Who was their third?
It was Marked by 8.
It was Marked by 8, right? Yeah.
And then it was Seiko, and now it's EXO.
Yeah, the roster Seiko thing is just, it's tough. It's real tough. I'm not, what do you do to protect players? And I don't know, the whole...
So that makes me wonder if esports might, I wonder what your thoughts are on this, is if esports start taking more of a clue from like regular sports in this as well, where you start seeing stuff like player associations and contracts and things like that. Do you think that that's something we will see one day as esports continues to grow?
I hope so. I think it's necessary. I mean, how much money were orgs given? These people, like these people on Twitter were talking about hundreds of millions that these orgs are being funded by investors, and how things are going to backtrack this year, right? You guys have been reading that?
Yeah.
Like, where is all the money for insurance for players, or insurance for employees, or like any of the standard business practices that all of these orgs have been getting money for? Where is all of that stuff? Because, like, if you had all that, you don't need a players union if you just treat people normally. But, like, the contracts that these orgs, even reputable ones, were handing out were disgusting. They wanted, like, some of the contracts that even Rocket League orgs offered were extremely exploitive. And if I wasn't my age and I was a younger age, like, I probably would have gotten taken advantage of. And it was so bad to the point where me and my old coach, Jimmer, talked about making a players union, reached out to lawyers when we were negotiating contracts because of how bad and almost manipulative it can be sometimes.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard that.
So, I mean, it's sad. It's sad. It's a weird time in the industry right now, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and also like you think about like the transfer windows, and I don't know how much you hear about all the rumors and stuff, but like Rise was gonna go to V1, and then
Mhm.
Com was gonna leave, and then Optic was gonna pick him up, and so like it's gotta like affect all those players, right? So like Com didn't get dropped because Rise didn't come over, so that's gotta mess with Com's mental and their team dynamic because they were gonna drop him, when a better player came available, and then you get like people like Oli who now he doesn't have a team because he got dropped at the last minute for Rise.
Terrible.
Like,
Yep.
I feel like something's got to change because, like, as a fan of Rocket League, you're missing out because Oli's a fantastic player.
Yeah, 100%. It's not the player's fault. I'll say this before I say what I'm going to say. It's not the player's fault. But at the same time, if your teammate is saying that they're going to go on vacation, I don't think it's okay if he says, guys, I'm going to go on vacation and not be on my computer for, let's say, 7 days. And then within those 7 days, like, you're like, okay, cool, have fun. See you when you get back. And then within those 7 days, while he's on vacation, you kick him and try and bring in someone else. Like, I just think that that's fundamentally wrong. You can't allow someone to just leave your team, go on break, and then just snatch a player while he's gone with no warning. So I think that the players should be held accountable at least a little bit in that scenario.
I think so too.
There's nothing quite like getting fired on vacation.
Well, it's just like that's awful. The kid's off with his girlfriend taking a break, and for like the amount of time that these Rocket League players play, it's insane. The amount of time that you're scrimming, playing in a tournament, like it's constant. You don't have weekends off. It's a 24/7 thing almost. So when you get a break, it's a huge deal. And then the fact that he takes a break for the first time in probably four months, and they just drop him without warning while he's on break. I mean, that's just... I'm just surprised that no one has said anything about it. Like the Psionics or other players, and even the Ollie situation is just like, I cast for Oxygen. I cast him. I've been casting him every week for, since the summer. And he's put in a ton of work, ton of time, and then he gets dropped with no time left to find a team. I mean, it's just... I feel like that is almost just human respect levels, and it's just not being met. I don't know. It could be a boomer opinion. I am old, so...
Hey, we're right there with you. I mean, I don't fully understand it either, right? Because, I mean, if you're a fan of competitive Rocket League at all, you want the best teams to be able to compete all the time, right? And if you're missing out on an Oli, on other people, then that's just bad for competitive Rocket League because it decreases the competitiveness.
Well, one thing Splice did in my contract, and they were the first ones to do it because I had all of these complaints that we're talking about now. Splice gave me 6 months of pay if I get terminated without cause, and then they would have a list of causes that I could get terminated for, right? Being on vacation was not one of them. So if I were calm, right, and I got kicked and I was unable to find a team, they were still on the hook for 6 months after, which I think still that, like, Com should have that in his contracts. Players should have that in their contracts, because this idea that you can go on vacation, get dropped with no warning by people you're supposed to be coworkers with for multiple months at a time, don't have your back at all, and just at the drop of a hat just leave you hanging. I mean, the org at that time, I feel, should take the responsibility, since the esport is not making the players.
It should never, from my perspective, as somebody who, like as Kyle said, I want to see the best players and I want to see what's best for these players. The sacrifice it takes to be a pro, right? I don't want it. I don't want the strategy, because right now the strategic advantage is, if you're going to drop a player who you know is good, is to wait till the last minute, because then you don't have to compete with them in the next, the next.
Oh, is that
section.
what it is? Is that what all that's about?
I don't know,
Okay.
but like if I were in Oregon, and I was trying to min-max my advantages, dropping somebody like Ollie before he has time to get another team would be the move if you had trade set up.
Yeah, we're talking about a child here.
I
Like this
I
kid
know,
is
but
like 7. He's under 18 years old, and these like
it ain't
adults
right.
are talking about screwing over a child to make a profit. Like it's not a good look. And as someone who's I'm sure that's the point you're trying to make. I'm just kind of building off of it. My bad.
Oh, no, no, you're absolutely right, and I completely agree. But uh, I've never seen something that grows and more money comes in take a turn for better for the people making that mone because they couldn't do
Oh
it without
yeah,
the
no, it's
players.
not.
So, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're all old here.
Well, because the players want to win, right? It's all about wanting to win. They
Yeah.
thought Rise would improve their team. They've been struggling. Like it wasn't a personal thing with Com. The problem is, I think that in a situation like Oli, right? If he's getting paid, I think he's fine. Like if he's getting paid by Oxygen right now, even though he doesn't have a team, I don't think you can argue that it's a bad thing, right? Because
No,
like he'll just wait to find another team, and for now, yeah, he's forcibly sat out. But the whole community knows that, and everyone still knows that he's good. So as long as he just keeps doing what he's doing, he'll probably get another shot.
that's fair.
But if you just cut the pay entirely, and you change his age to my age, 25 years old with your own house, and you get dropped out of nowhere and kicked with no warning, and you have no assurances or like a backup in your contract, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, you're SOL.
Like, I'm just, you're just screwed. And then what now? Because of my age, even with no proof, people are like, oh, well, she can't play anymore because she's older. It's just like, it's maybe you just blame the person who got into the industry to begin with. Or do you blame the industry for not progressing at all in the 10 years that it's been handed tons and tons of money?
I mean, I kind of lean towards blaming the esport, right? I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like, just being even like somewhat decent to the people who have helped made you so much money, I think has to be like the first step.
Well, I think that's the issue is that a lot of these orgs that we're talking about, especially in Rocket League, they're deep red.
Yeah.
So, like, you know how I talk about investors having money in orgs and stuff, and that all might be true, but at the same time, player salaries are extremely overinflated right now. To the point where, like, these Rocket League teams some are making more than 20K a month, individually. So, like, you'll have 3 players on a team making 20, 19, 18, that's $60,000 a month for these orgs, not including a coach or anything like that. So these are like $1 million investments, with no protections except org side.
Yeah.
And they are able to get away with it because it's young people right now who are the ones, carrying the industry, and they don't need insurance. They don't need houses because they still live at home. But like if you change all that, it's gonna have to match the times eventually.
True.
Because esports is growing linear with age. The popularity goes up the older people get.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So while it's like all super frustrating, at the same time it's an industry problem, and I'm just surprised that it's not tackled yet. It just seems really easy to not kick a teammate when they're on vacation. Like it I don't know. It just doesn't seem complicated. I'm not trying to slander V1 or anything. I think that like they're not the only team to ever do it,
Yeah, I mean,
we at one point scrimmed with someone other than Jay was when he was on vacation. We weren't even trying them out. We were just scrimming because I wanted to keep practicing. And he found out and started texting me like mid scrims, "Are you guys trying someone out?" Like, it's not good. When
yeah, I
people are on
cannot.
vacation, they deserve to be relaxed. And then we never scrimmed again after that because I felt terrible. Like Jay was thought that even that we might have been doing that,
Oh yeah, I can't imagine the stress that puts on you. You always have to be on guard like that. You have to have
Yeah, it's
some
not
sort of
fair.
security in your job, honestly. And this is, at the end of the day, it is is your job, right? So, but I do wonder though, and kind of change the subject, kind of change the subject just a little bit and move on. I, there's been a lot of news lately about bots in Rocket League, and
Yep.
I am definitely nowhere near high enough level to even see these bots in this game. But uh, have you run into one of these
I haven't.
Nexto? Is that what it's called? You have not.
I have not. Me and Asfura are about the only ones that haven't run into the bots, I think, right now. So I'm waiting. I thought I ran into one today during the stream, but turned out to be a human. He came in chat
Okay.
afterwards.
Well, that's not proof. AI is crazy right now.
Oh, really? So if they
Maybe.
type or something, it can still be an AI?
I've seen some videos where they claim like they chat and stuff in the game, to you. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
okay.
true or not. From what I've seen is the way you can tell is you have to basically go into the replay and see do they ever take ball cam off because the AI don't, um,
Ah,
and a few other things, just like pixel perfect mechanics as far as like grabbing the ball and doing flicks and things like that on a consistent basis. But mostly it's they never leave ball cam.
okay.
But
Didn't
yeah,
know that.
they can type is what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't run into any, but I I work like I do this podcast for fun, but I'm in tech, so I am
Okay.
insanely fascinated by the jump of AI,
Oh,
or
it's gone
basically bots.
insane. Well,
It's
can I turn into the podcaster for a second and ask you if it has
for
anything to
sure.
do with the chat AI bot becoming public source? Is that why AI is like, I feel like AI, even outside of Rocket League, is everywhere for me.
So, the release of ChatGPT publicized AI, and it got people to actually take a look at the AI industry basically as a whole. But it is not the reason why you're seeing AI everywhere. It's just that AI has finally reached like this turning point where
Gotcha.
it's now becoming, because basically AI has been heading to this direction for about 10 years or so. There's a YouTube video I saw about 8, 9 years ago that was Humans Need Not Apply. Is by and it talked about this. In
Bill Gates
I've
did a show on it. I feel like I watched it when I was younger.
You probably did. I mean, like AI has always been this futuristic scientific, this futuristic, it's gonna happen, but somewhere down the line, I don't think people understand how
like
quickly
flying
technology
cars.
moves. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like we're at this point now, we're at this turning point within 3 to 4 years. There's gonna be, what we see now, we're gonna look back at this time and be like, wow, AI used to be dumb. So,
Really, you think?
oh, 100%.
It's
Yeah.
gonna get so it's gonna pass us pretty fast in
I mean,
intelligence.
I would argue I've met quite a few people, and I would say that in many cases my desk has passed them in intelligence. But as a
Oh well,
whole,
yeah. That's not that hard with humans now that I realize it.
yeah, you're setting the bar kind of low.
Yeah.
Have you met the average person?
It's
The
true.
average
It's
Uh,
slat.
true.
but no, the surprising thing is that there's now some that can play Rocket League, which people are
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, that
that's
could
true
never
actually.
happen. But
Yeah.
like, of course it can. Of course it can, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I was curious. So you haven't run into one directly that you know
Nope.
of. Have you
Not that
seen
I
its
know of.
impact in the game?
I see its impact on Twitter anytime I open it. That's for sure. I feel bad because each person is making like a solo complaint, but I follow everyone, so I've seen like 5,000 complaints. Uh, so the impact, at least it feels like right now, it's clogging up ranked for the middle and top ranks. Like it's hard, like it's impossible for diamonds to beat this thing, right?
It seems
Uh,
like it.
yeah, that's kind of where I was going with this is because like from my perspective, my own personal journey here. I'm gonna gripe for just a second. Sorry, everybody, but um, I've been sitting like high C1 for seasons, and I haven't gotten any better because I haven't put in the time, and that's fine because I'm old. I have taxes. I have things I gotta do. Okay, I can't just play a video game all the time. But like,
Imagine doing that.
but now I don't know if this makes me feel elitist or not, but like I feel really bad. I am just about to D rank into Diamond 2. As of the last 2 weeks, I have like basically never won. And it's been crazy because suddenly Champ 1 and below is like people flip resetting and stuff. And I'm not saying those are the bots. What I think it is the high level players don't have any reason to jump into their accounts because they might run into a bot, so they're playing on their alts. Is
Yeah,
my theory right now. But like I feel like it's really ruined it for that section of the player base, and I was wondering up top if it's the same.
it definitely seems the same. I unfortunately, because of like not having direct reference for you, I can't confirm. But almost every single pro that I've seen is complaining about and saying the game is being attacked. So I've seen a lot of talk about the psionics making a statement. Can you say something? And I think that Sonics probably doesn't want to bring attention to the fact that it's around right now, and they're not going to respond because they're working on a solution. There's no way that they're not working on something. You could be inept, but realize that like even if you didn't have a brain, I think you would realize that it needs to get fixed. So I definitely think they're working on something. I do think it's weird though how every single big content creator clickbaited. Not every single. I don't want to lump everybody. A lot of big content creators clickbaited AI and mechanics and bots and like all this things to make money off of it, and it exposed it to everyone. And I think that they kind of caused the problem. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think if you know whoever making a lot of videos on it made it, it wouldn't be as big of a problem now as it is. Would it still end up becoming one? I don't know. I just think that it's almost like a trend to make a bot in Rocket League. Like it's almost become a meme at this point.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I've only like because I've seen like some of Lethamir's videos and like I've done it myself, like to go into a private match and play against Nexto, like try to see if you can beat Nexto, and then somebody finally made the jump and pushed it into ranked, and yeah, it's
Well,
go ahead.
the thing for me was about it is why are we letting a bot play the game and get good? And I remember thinking about it when it was coming out, like, isn't this a problem? What if the bot, like, at first it was terrible, but everybody knew when the bot puts in time, it'll probably get better because it just has to learn the bounces. That's the whole thing with Rocket League is you have to see every bounce a bunch of times so that you remember it, etc. So at the time, I was like, yeah, the bot's probably going to learn them eventually, but it's going to take it a long time, like as long as it took us, probably. And then now it's gotten to a point where, I don't know, did we doom ourselves? Is this a precursor to humanity? Because the bot learned everything we have and it's just making it miserable. Whereas if we never added bots in the first place, we could be fine right now.
True.
Because I don't think you could just program an SSL bot.
Oh, I don't think so either. There's way too much.
I think it
like,
has to be an engine learned process over years.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure that's kind of the nature of the beast. But I'm giggling to myself the thought that like the documentarians 100 years from now will be like humans didn't notice when they took over Rocket League and that was their mistake.
Exactly. Or it could it's a branch effect to this time period. Like at what point is an AI gonna do something bad? Because I think it's gonna happen at some point. It's gonna do something bad, and then you realize like you can't punish it. So now what? You just turn it off?
You apologize right now, or I'm unplugging you. Yeah.
Can you even turn off AI? Doesn't it just exist in an off state too? I don't know how any of this works. So, because like if I turn off my computer, it's still my computer. It's just not on. It has all the information. It's there.
Well, and these things, I mean, Nexo probably isn't a good example of this. It's just a very intelligent, most likely just a very intelligent programmer script. I haven't played with it myself. But like the things that most people are associating right now, like ChatGPT, that is a whole interconnected system. It's most likely
That's
multiple
scary.
computers and cloud-based and redundant because
Is
they
it
don't want to
Skynet?
lose their work.
That's like
Kind of,
talking
except it
to a
doesn't.
person. The bot.
I mean, have you tried out
Hmm.
ChatGPT? Wow, we're getting really
I
off the
love it.
rails. But yes,
Yeah.
I loved it too because like I used it to insult my friends. I was like, "Hey, my friend says he sucks at Rocket League. How can he get better?" And it gave me a good answer. I'm like, "That is more toxic than if you gave me a dumb answer."
You actually spit out the facts at people. Yeah.
It did, yeah. It was all like, "Yeah, he can try this and this," and like came up with like I was like, "Whoa." One, it knows what Rocket League is, and two, it knows how to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
The big thing for me was it gave me coding. So I took Code Academy for a while when I was younger, and I used to be really good at HTML, and I was just curious. I didn't know what type of code I was doing. I think it was Java, but I had it just write code for me, and it wrote it in 30 seconds. Like it felt like what would have taken me an hour plus of code, it did in 30 seconds because I told it to. And then the same thing happened with a book report. I told it to write an MLA format book report on something I did in high school because that's what I used to write, MLA format essays, etc. And it wrote it in like 30 seconds, like a 4-page paper compare and contrast essay. And it just blew my mind.
That's wild.
That things that I would take days on, weeks on in high school, this program does in 30 seconds.
Well, and so that's actually a really funny thing because like I just got my degree in software development, and there are just certain things about software development that I don't really have solidified in my head, like certain concepts, functional, dynamic programming, et cetera, et cetera. And that AI explained things to me in ways I understand, along with example code in ways that I understood that was commented and showed me exactly. It broke it down for me in ways that none of my teachers did, none of the
Hmm.
classwork it did, none of the programs I made did. And I was like, oh, well, this is fantastic. So yeah, me and ChatGPT, we go way back. We talk all the time now.
well, well, what's stopping someone from making a completely AI run content channel? But yeah, they have to sit there. But you can change your face, right? You can now AI your face to something different, like a randomly generated AI face, with like a Snapchat filter, and stream with it. You can make yourself Keanu Reeves or some celebrity now with a face changer. Nvidia just released the thing where your eyes don't lose contact with the camera when you're talking. Even if you're looking away, it keeps your eyes there. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I have seen that. People are making jokes.
Yeah, it's just, where does it, what is going to be real and what isn't going to be real was a problem that we had with the elections, the last recent ones. And I just don't see how that gets better universally with AI.
It's gonna be so much fun to watch the bonfire. I like a good bonfire.
It is done. It is bad though, right? I don't know. It's scary.
It's both. It's as fatalistic as anything else can be. In that, like, it can be a tool for the ultimate bad, and it can be a tool for the ultimate good, and we kind of have to wait and see. Um, and
Don't
yeah,
don't you think? I know we have to get back to Rocket League, but don't you think that there are going to be evil AI and chaotic AI just like there are human personalities?
I don't think so. Just
So you think they
because
will all learn the same?
no, I think that good and evil is a human concept. I don't think there's going to be a good or evil AI because that requires it to actually
But
understand the idea of good or evil. It's kind of just information that spits itself out to you.
but what if its solution to like a population crisis is to nuke China?
Well, that would suck for China.
Well, like that's an extreme example, but that's like a point
Yeah,
I
of
make
course.
where an AI could be in a situation where it has to make a decision and it makes one that doesn't benefit the people who made it. Then you're entering like an uncharted zone because
We
I think
really
that's
are.
gonna happen.
I think we've been in an uncharted zone since we left Rocket League behind.
Yeah, that's true. We should get back on topic.
Yeah, we're
Well-
way out of my element there.
Me too. I was kind of just speaking. but-
No, well, what's been really great is excuse those things. What's been really great is normally I feel way out of my element because Kyle's here is the actual expert in RLCS. I just play the game and sometimes come up with a good question. So like I've been enjoying the heck out of his silence. I'm like, yeah, how's it feel?
For real.
But I guess just moving back along a little bit, we are getting a little bit long for an episode, and Kyle edited
Sorry.
it down so we could keep going
Always
as long as
happens
we
when you
want.
invite Karma.
This is
It's my
fantastic, by the
fault.
way.
Hey, I'd rather have too much stuff than too little.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
let's have you on
saying.
next week. We'll continue the conversation. But
Hell yeah.
but let's take some moments and give him some stuff that he can throw out there for you. So go ahead and let's take this time, plug anything you want to plug, future plans for RL, what's up
Sure.
and coming and big for Karma.
Well, the big thing for me this year is my goal is to really try and hit Rocket League with content. I've never done that before as an esports person. I've kind of only just been a pro player who streams sometimes. But I made a TikTok this week. I made all the stuff I'm gonna upload every day. This year is my goal on all the little platforms. I'm gonna be streaming a bunch more, so if you're in the Rocket League scene, just try and keep an eye out for me. I'm gonna try and be teaching everybody how to improve as I de-rust from my little break from the game, and hopefully you can learn as I teach or learn from my mistakes and laugh along the way. That's the goal, and if not, I tried.
Yeah, that's fair.
I gave it my best effort.
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoy watching your content. So I'm happy to put the links to all of your socials in the episode description. And
Thank you.
yeah, of course. And I'll put a tweet out from our account about that. So hopefully people can find all of your relevant social media information there.
Yeah, I'll let everyone know about you guys as well. I enjoy your podcast. Believe it or not, I listen. I was listening a lot when you guys had Stax on. Because Stax is a good homie of mine, so I tuned all the way in for that episode, and I've caught a few other ones. I really like what you guys do as well.
Yeah, it's exciting for me because I mean, like I said, I coach, but I'm by no means a professional player anywhere close to it, and so I mean, I felt that there was room for, kind of the people who have another job to be able to stay involved in RLCS and to know what happens. Because I mean, I went to my first LAN event for Worlds in Dallas, and I've played in LANs and I've coached in LANs, but I've never been to one as a fan. So truly an awesome experience, and it's.
Are you going to San Diego?
Yeah, we both are.
Hey,
Yes.
all right. I hope I can make it. I'm pretty sure I can make it, not 100%, but it depends on my health. It's been a pain recently, so traveling is a question mark, but I'm hoping. When is it again? March or April?
I believe it is Easter weekend,
April.
Unfortunately, in April, but that ends up being
Yeah.
like April 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to get something sorted with my doctors by then so that I'm able to be there. I really want to go. San Diego's going to be such a fun location.
Yeah.
And my aunt lives there, so I've grew up there a little bit. Be nice to come visit, see everybody. I haven't been to an event since I handed out the medals to NRG at season 8. Is that when they won?
I think it is.
Yeah, I haven't been to an event since 2020. So
Jeez. And
if I get there, I'm going to be as hyped as you guys. We're going to get tons of drinks. Let's go.
I was gonna say, yeah. If you
Yes.
make it out there, we owe you a drink. We just add it to the list because we got to get Stax
Oh, are you kidding?
and Lachlan up there
Yeah.
too. So
Stax
Yeah,
is a
just-
drinker? I didn't know that.
I mean, I told him I'd buy him a drink, and he said we'll see. So if
Oh,
he wants a Coke or something
Maybe
like that,
we
I
can
get him
force it
too.
down him. One-on-one, I couldn't take Stax. With you guys, I think I could take him. It'd be tough, but
I mean,
will
if
say-
we got a group of them, we could just get them mobbed. Hey, everybody, look at Stax.
oh yeah. If he has his white cowboy hat on, he definitely will be mobbed. I don't know if you guys
100%.
saw that suit when he did the intro. It's clean.
Yeah. But then if you've listened to some of the other episodes, we got to ask the last question. When is a good time to go for boost over ball?
Boost over ball is a good time when your opponent is dribbling towards your own corner and you know it has no threat to go into your net at all. And your teammate is behind you for sure. If all of those align, it's better to just take your corner boost, let him just dribble into the wall for useless, and force him to go back with 0. That would be a better time to take boost over ball.
Okay, that's the first actual good answer we've heard.
Yeah.
All right, we were talking about it today in my stream, so I was like half prepared.
Fair.
I kind of cheated.
Hey, I mean, Lachlan said, if you're a boost merchant like AJ, then all the time, but...
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
no
no.
offense, AJ.
No, he's
you
not.
are a little boost demon.
You know, and Stax said, all the time, how else are you going to celebrate with the other team?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Stax, Stax always a little meme answer.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how he gets you.
Oh, it definitely is.
It's the Boston, I should say, it's the New England sarcasm.
Oh, yeah.
He is in Maine, but that's pretty much Boston at this point.
Same thing. What's
He gets
really
included.
up there anywhere?
Nothing but Moose and Stax.
Fair. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I know we both had an awesome time. It's always great to be able to talk to people, and to get your perspective on things has been a great time.
Yeah, the feeling's mutual. I had a blast. Anytime you guys need a guest or anything, feel free to hit me up. Look forward to listening to you guys in the future.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great night, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
You too. Bye.
See ya. Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast.